on the front row. It's still Taylor Mitchell in the Jump Flex Team MRX entry, who sits on the provisional pole as we tick down 10 minutes remaining now in the session. Rosetown Motor Group once again putting up the $10 cash for the driver tonight that puts it on the pole for the first race. And what a story this would be for young Taylor Mitchell if he's able to break through and grab the pole position here. It's currently sitting third in the championship as we enter round number 2. But this is already becoming a pretty good storyline here for Taylor Mitchell in this third season. He's definitely going to be one to watch as we see him just lighting it up there on the exit. Drop the wheels there on the grass, but no damage to that car, so he'll be able to live and fight another day there in that Commodore. But 0.16 still ahead of the next car, so a pretty decent margin there from the young gun.
Yeah, it's a great story as well as a young talent. And I was actually having a chat to his dad Nick, who was racing in the main game with us last night. I was having a chat to him last night, and I just said how pleased he must have been to have seen Taylor, be able to. He's always been fast. Last season he showed some really good raw pace, but just got tangled up in a few incidents. And I was really impressed with his composure last week around Bathurst, which is an easy track to make a mistake, and it punishes you hard if you do. He showed great composure because you might recall, he was stuck in a couple of pretty intense battles across a couple of races there, and did really, really well to keep the nose of that car clean, keep the car straight, and bring it home for a podium on a couple of occasions. So yeah, he said it was a very proud night in the Mitchell household, and he'll be super stoked to see Taylor doing so well tonight. So here's hoping the young fella can keep it together in these closing stages of qualifying, and he's certainly going to end up at the pointy end, so it bodes well for him tonight as well, James.
Certainly does. Bill Kilgour there on screen from these guys as well as we say that. Taylor Mitchell, first driver there into the 52s with a 52.8. Greg, that's a great lap.
That's a really good time, and Taylor just backing up a strong performance from last week. I guess as we have a look at some of the results that we've seen over the last season and heading into this year, Taylor's one guy who showed extremely good pace last season, and was just a little bit unfortunate to get caught up in some incidents. So we've got some of the usual protagonists at the top end of the field when you're just looking at the series points earlier on, but it's great to see the likes of Taylor Mitchell and even Willem Pimbiljon, at the pointy end. And I know we're only a round in, but these early rounds really do set you up for the back end of the season.
And currently on top, Taylor Mitchell still hanging on there by 0.02 now, back to Matt Hayward, who's actually come up into the second spot. So while we were having a chat there, Greg, Hayward once again has pipped Aaron Goodrick, and he's put himself provisionally on the front row. But 45 seconds left to go. Has anyone got anything for Taylor Mitchell? He's going to be on one of his final laps here, so we'll wait and see if he's able to improve on his time on the final lap of the session. But currently this young man right here is in the box seat to take the $10 cash thanks to Rosetown Motor Group and start from the perfect starting spot. Position number 1 on the grid here for the first race at Lime Rock Park.
Yeah, he's got that thing hooked up, hasn't he? And if you have a look across the top 3 positions, 6/100ths of a second. Just try and work that out if you're watching this at home. I don't reckon you could click your fingers or blink your eyes. So he's got some clear air in front of him. Doesn't look to be too much lap traffic around as we pick up that replay now.
So this is Matt here. He's a lap down in the number 233 open host entry, and he's just rotated, and unfortunately wrong place, wrong time for Taylor Mitchell.
That's absolutely gutting for young Taylor. And it's hard, you can't apportion any blame to Matt here. There, at the end of the day, there was a big gap to Taylor Mitchell behind him. But as we pointed out earlier in the broadcast, it's a horrible braking zone for these cars. And really, you got to say Taylor Mitchell was committed there. He decided to take that outside line and hope that Matt here pulled it up, ground to a stop, so he could get around the outside of him. But unfortunately, it just didn't pay off, and he's collected the side of him. So he's had the outcome of this race affected by something outside of his control, which is always really tough to watch, especially when you've got to such a strong start. So really unfortunate for the